Hello everyone. Yesterday we had seen about examination of patient along with investigation. This examination of gynec patient and case taking of gynec patient is almost same in obstetric also. So today we are going to discuss about the examination and investigations of obstetric patients. So in obstetric, actually we had seen ANC examination. So that is only the examination of a patient for obstetric OPD. So we have to follow all the steps of ANC examination, that is antenatal care examination. But for the details of examination and investigation, we will see some points. So today we are going to discuss about the obstetric examination and obstetric investigation. Obstetric is a subject which deals with pregnancy, normal pregnancy and disorders of pregnancy, and usually normal puerperium, that is period after delivery, and diseases or disorders after the delivery, that is puerperial disorders. So all these things we include in obstetric. So case taking of a patient in obstetric, that means she must be pregnant or she must have history of abortion or delivery. Those patients come under obstetric examination. So now we will start about examination of obstetric patient. For that, all the preliminary things right from your preliminary data we had seen in gynec. So preliminary data, almost importance of significance of those things is same for obstetric also. So starting from preliminary data, in gynec lecture we had seen about details of preliminary data. In that we have to take name, age, sex, address and social status of patient. Each one has its particular thing to be summarized, like age of patient. In gynec it is important for various types of diseases limited to that age. But in obstetric, why age is important? Because early pregnancy or late pregnancy, grand multipara patients, those patients have their particular complications to be expected. Early pregnancy, those girls are very less in age, and because of that insufficiency of various things can occur, and that may lead to incomplete abortion or various types of abortion, anemia, chances of IUD, fetal growth retardation. So these types of complications can occur because of low age or less age of that particular female. So age group is very important. We have to be very keen about this age group, and while knowing this age group we can summarize the things which can occur in her pregnancy. Late pregnancy after age of 30 or 35 or more than 40, there are some things which can, or there are complications which can occur during pregnancy, like abortion, fetal abnormalities, congenital diseases in fetus. Patient or that female can develop pregnancy-induced hypertension, diabetes. She may go in preterm labor or post-term pregnancy can occur. So these types of complications are related with age factor. So again, age is important in obstetric also. Name, as it is very important because many social things or many social diseases or disorders relating to pregnancy also are related with this thing. So name is important. After that, parity, which is very important. We had discussed in gynec GPLA. G stands for gravida, P stands for parity, L for live children, A for abortion. Again, grand multiparity, that means pregnancy more than 3 to 4 times. Again, that can occur, that can lead to various complications during pregnancy, like abortion, incomplete abortion, APH, antepartum hemorrhage, PIH, pregnancy-induced hypertension, babies' abnormalities, congenital diseases, deformities, preterm labor. So these types of complications can occur because of repeated pregnancies. A stand for abortion, patients who are having repeated history of abortion. So again we have to be very clear because of the cause of abortion, whether patient is having habitual abortion, so that we can treat that patient to avoid the abortions. So GPLA again is very important in obstetric examination. P is parity, how many times she has been delivered with normal vaginal delivery or cesarean. If patient have history of cesareans, So with recent pregnancy we should be very careful, because usually pregnancy with cesarean ultimately ends with cesarean of existing pregnancy also. So we can give trial of vaginal delivery, but we should be very careful. So parity is important. Live children, status of children, whether the babies are normal, they have any congenital diseases or retardation like problems. So all these things are important. A is abortion, as we discussed. Patient, if having history of abortion, we should know the cause of abortion, whether it was induced abortion, whether it was habitual, whether it was septic, whether it was any other type of abortion, so that in this pregnancy that will not occur. So GPLA, obstetric history, is important. Menstrual history, in that again we have to take her first FMP, that is first menstrual period, and last menstrual period, that is LMP. By that we have to calculate EDD. Calculation of EDD we had discussed. So LMP, that is last menstrual period, and from this last menstrual period we have to calculate her expected date of delivery. We do this expected date of delivery by simple calculation. We just do the simple calculation by minusing 3 from month, adding 7 in days. Like for example, patient's date is 10/5/2020. Then her expected date of delivery will be 10 plus 7 is 17, 5 minus 3 is 2, so 17/2/2021. That will be her expected date of delivery. So these things we do in menstrual history. Again, past history, importance of past history. Patient have any major diseases, major illness, those are very important, that can reflect in her existing pregnancy. Surgical history, that is very important, because previous surgeries, major surgeries, abdominal surgeries, previous cesareans also can affect her existing pregnancy. Then family history, as again many types of diseases in pregnancy are related with her maternal side. So family history we should be very careful while taking her family history. If patient is a twin child, if patient's mother have hypertension, if patient's mother have diabetes, or history of abortion from her family side and other things, we should be taking in consideration while taking family history. Then surgical history, past history, family history, personal history, many things of habits of alcohol, tobacco, smoking, various types of drug, all these things we took in personal history. So all these things are usually similar with gynec examination, but the importance of that examination for obstetric purpose is different. So we should took these things, elements in that manner. So this is about history taking. After that, general examination, that is also usually similar to a gynec thing, but the importance again it is different from our usual thing. So in this examination, we actually do the basic general examination. In that we took all the things in detail. Examination, we will start from her normal build. In gynec also we took her build and other things, but that where we are focusing on secondary sexual characters, if that female is having her characters normal or abnormal. But now in obstetric we will be focusing on her build, whether she is anemic or obese or like that. So first point is build. Second is again nutrition, that means anemia and other things we will see in nutrition. Then height of patient is again very important in obstetric, because if patient is short statured, then chances of CPD are there. If patient is having her abnormal height or these things, that can be very dangerous for vaginal delivery. So a build, height, weight, all these things are important for obstetric purpose. Next is weight. Weight of patient is very important, because if patient have very low weight, that will be dangerous and she cannot give sufficient nutrition or blood supply to baby, and there are chances of fetal low weight of that fetus or death of that fetus. So low weight of that patient is dangerous, as well as obese patients are not good for continuation of pregnancy. Many complications relating to this obesity during pregnancy are there. Like patient can go in postpartum pregnancy, some patients can go in preterm pregnancy, some patient can go in fetal death, IUD, stillbirths, congenital diseases in baby, Some patients have APH, PIH, diabetes during pregnancy. So obesity is the factor which should be ruled out during ANC or obstetric examination. Then again, signs of anemia, signs of jaundice, lymphadenopathy, edema, pedal edema especially. If there is edema, PIH can be there. So these things are common, but we have to be very particular about that. Systemic examination will start from all the general things like CVS, RS, as we had seen. If heart sounds are normal, if there is any abnormal heart sounds or murmur, if RS is having any Krebs, asthma like things, or wheezing or bronchitis, so we have to clear those things, and we have to be proceeding for our systemic examination by per abdomen examination. In pregnancy, in early pregnancy, there is nothing to be palpated on per abdomen examination, but in mid pregnancy, from mid pregnancy, we can palpate the size of uterus. So there are heights of uterus according to weeks of pregnancy. Weeks of pregnancy, we had discussed that thing. Patient will give us the last menstrual period. From that, we have to calculate her weeks of pregnancy. So from her last menstrual period, we calculate first week, second week, third week, like that things, and every week have particular heights of uterus. So uterine fundus rises in that level only. We had seen all these heights of uterus and other things in ANC examination. So for this examination session, we will just see about the examination steps. So per abdomen examination, again that will involve inspection, palpation, percussion and auscultation. These things or standard format is for examination of all the systems and organ. So per abdomen examination, we have to inspect the thing. Per abdomen inspection will be there should not be any scar, injury, abnormal discoloration. There is pigmentation, we called it as linea nigra, that is brown pigmentation. There is a line in middle of abdomen, that is normal thing. Pink stretch marks and other things are also normal. Except that if there is any scar, injury, bleeding, blood vessels are prominent, those things are abnormal. If there is excessive fluid collection, color of abdominal skin is tense, shiny, so that can be leading of ascites or hydramniosis. So inspection involves all these things. After that palpation, we can palpate the uterus, and the uterus should be, or the size of uterus should be according to her weeks of pregnancy. Uterus should be soft, it should not be hard on palpation, and any other mass or any other growth should not be there on our palpation. Only soft uterus along with fetus we can palpate. Percussion and auscultation, we get, usually there is nothing abnormal during pregnancy, but if there is any tumor, cyst or fibroid during pregnancy, we can know the things. On auscultation also we can realize. So these things are there. On auscultation again, FH, respiratory heart sounds are important, those we get on our auscultation. So these things are to be examined. Then PSPV examination, basic guideline is same for gynec, like thing, all the SOPs like aseptic precautions, preparation of patient, proper positioning of patient. In that obstetric examination, we give lithotomy position on labor table or delivery table. Proper positioning is given, and by taking highest care, we examine the patient, because if we give infection from our hands or our instruments, that will be dangerous for her also and for baby also. So with aseptic precaution, we do the examination. We do the per speculum examination. Usually for this we can use SIMS or Cusco speculum, and by that we inspect the genital cavity. If there is any abnormal discharge, watery discharge, bleeding, abnormal growth, injury or any foreign particle, these things we inspect. On palpation, that means PV examination, per vaginal examination, we palpate the uterus, the gravid uterus which is bulky, enlarged, and we palpate the uterus bimanually. That means we examine per vaginal examination and we palpate on abdominal thing. So we palpate the bulky, large, enlarged uterus which is soft and elastic. This is PSPV examination. And after that, usually this examination we do is in early trimester and in late trimester, because in mid trimester, when there is quite growth of baby, this examination is painful. So we avoid this type of examination. Each and every time a PSPV examination is not advised, only per abdominal examination we can do. So this is about this thing, PSPV examination. If at all patient have any symptoms like things of repeated infections, we have to take some cervical smear for culture or other thing. We can take the smear with our brush. We had discussed about that cervical brush, and iris spatula we use and take the cervical smear for examination. If patient is having chronic infection, and that because of that patient can have abortion and other things, so if we want to do some culture like things, we can take the smear even during pregnancy. If at all there is any suggestive thing for cancer or like that, but it is very rare during pregnancy, but if there is possibility of cancer like thing, we can do pap smear also. So these are the things which we do in our obstetric examination. Other investigations, so this is about our obstetric examination. Okay, up till now all the things are routine and they are done usually in our clinic or OPD. Now investigations which we advise are routine investigation that we had discussed in our ANC profile, all the blood investigation, urine investigation. As we discussed, if we want to do any culture, blood culture, urine culture, cervical culture, we can do it according to patient's complaint. And other tests, hepatitis and that is HIV, VDRL, all these are routine profile tests. If at all patient is having Rh negative blood group, we can advise Coombs test. If at all patient is having any other disease, we can advise the test accordingly. So these are the basic things, examination things which we advise for ANC examination. And we investigations for normal ANC, we do are all the routine investigations which we had discussed, and other investigations, other special investigations are USG, ultrasound, USG, that is ultrasound examination. Usually we do the ultrasound in normal pregnancy. Ultrasound in obstetrics is very common nowadays, and usually we advise the obstetric this ultrasound for knowing the status of baby, for growth of baby, to detect any major abnormality in baby, and as well as for the position of placenta, detachment, whether the placenta is properly attached or detached, so proper position of placenta, umbilical cord, and for other amniotic fluid level and other things. So usually we advise ultrasound. We advise ultrasound in first trimester for confirmation of pregnancy, for position of that embryo and development of that embryo. We advise this thing, and there are particular things and size or diameters of that baby or embryo sac. According to that we can know whether the baby is normal or baby is having any problem during her growth. Second thing, we advise ultrasound to detect the fetal anomalies. In early pregnancy also we can detect the fetal anomalies. Also for detecting multiple pregnancy, twin pregnancy, for detection of ectopic pregnancy, molar pregnancy. So these are the things, usually these are indications for what we advise USG in early trimester. Also to rule out the exact age of that baby. Sometimes patient is confused with last menstrual period. So by doing USG we can confirm the pregnancy size also. So for confirmation of pregnancy, for exact positioning of that embryo, and multiple pregnancy, twin pregnancy, ectopic pregnancy, molar pregnancy, to rule out these things, and for confirmation of weeks of pregnancy. So these are indications for what we advise ultrasonography. In second trimester we advise sonography to see the placental location, monitoring of baby, growth of baby, to monitoring the fetal abnormalities, any major diseases in baby, multiple pregnancy, congenital diseases in baby, and all growth factors of baby, as well as placenta, as well as umbilical cord. These are the things or indications for advising USG in second trimester. Also, we can detect the placenta and umbilical cord status, and umbilical cord is around neck of baby, or whether it is it is compressed under baby. So all these things we can know. Major diseases like spina bifida, then anencephaly, all these things, these are the major diseases of baby we can rule out in this pregnancy, in this trimester, so that sometimes if congenital abnormalities, gross congenital abnormalities are detected, termination can be possible. So to detect the major abnormalities in baby, we advise the second trimester USG. On the background of this USG report, we can take our decisions. If patient or baby have major diseases, anencephaly, hydrocephaly baby, open spina bifida, there is mental retardations or growth retardation of baby, conjoined twins, sometimes twins are joined and they are not properly showing their growth. So these things are there, and which we can detect in this mid trimester, and we can advise for termination, so that further complications can be avoided. In third trimester, we advise USG for again for knowing the fetal growth factors and fetal weight. Basically, we have to, now in this trimester we are doing USG for fetal growth, proper fetal weight, so that we can plan the delivery. And if there is many major thing to be detected, if the level of amniotic fluid is increased or decreased, status of umbilical cord, and proper functioning of baby, heart sounds of baby, and other things, usually fetal movement. So these things we see in late trimester USG. So usually we advise these 3 USGs, first trimester, second and third trimester, 3 USGs we advise. So along with blood urine investigations, if necessary culture and smear test, Coombs test, we advise basic investigation is USG for obstetric purpose. X-rays are nowadays not advised unless and until there is orthopedic complication or respiratory illnesses like tuberculosis, asthma and other things, or otherwise X-rays are not advised. Instead of that, we can do CT scan and MRI. CT scan is advised because it is safe during pregnancy also. So if at all there are diseases like tuberculosis, any history of cancers or like that things, we can advise CT scan instead of X-ray. So these types of investigation we do. We do amniocentesis, that is puncturing of amniotic sac, and we remove the amniotic fluid. This is per abdomen procedure. We puncture the site by seeing the proper position under USG. We puncture the amniotic sac and we took out the amniotic fluid, and we test that fluid for various types of purposes, like for fetal maturity, for fetal, we do this amniocentesis in Rh negative pregnancy, and whether the baby is Rh positive, for knowing the level of bilirubin in that baby. So we can do the test. If patients baby have passage of meconium, if baby has passed stool, and we can we can see these things on USG, but we are not sure what baby has passed exactly. So for that we can do the amniocentesis, that is we directly aspirate the content and we examine it. So we are very clear whether the baby have jaundice, whether the baby have passed meconium, whether the baby have baby is alive or not. If there is dark color amniotic fluid, that means there may be death of baby. So these things we do for amniocentesis. Amniocentesis is a procedure which is usually done with proper consent of patient, and spinal needle is used for this procedure. Spinal needle is used for spinal anesthesia, but in this procedure we use spinal needle, and we actually under USG we puncture it from abdomen and we aspirate the content and we examine that content. So this is again a thing, amniocentesis, which can be easily, we can do this test easily on the requirement or depending on our condition of patient. So these are the usual things, investigation. examination and investigation of obstetric patient. So these are the things which we usually advised for obstetric investigation. Other things are sometimes there may be in some pregnancies or in some condition whether when we have some special investigations to be done. In that condition we advise for fetal blood sampling. In that we took fetus blood. This is again a procedure where proper consent should be taken, and under the USG guidance we obtained the fetal blood, and we can know the detailed study about that fetal blood sample. And this is usually done in major diseases, chances whether there are chances of fetal death, gross fetal abnormality, patients with complication, that female with complication of severe PIH, diabetes, Rh negative patients. So in those patients we advise this fetal blood sampling. So these are the things or the investigations which we advise. Fetal tests are, there are some tests which we advise for fetal thing or fetal surveillance, that is to avoid fetal death and for proper fetal growth. These simple tests are there, like fetal movement test, fetal biophysical profile, Doppler ultrasound, and amniotic fluid test. Like we had discussed all these things. Fetal movement is a simple thing which we can also examine on our ANC examination. If we tap the abdominal cavity of that mother, baby show the fetal movement. So this is very simple test. Then Doppler test is, there is a Doppler machine actually, and we place the probe of that Doppler on abdomen, and we get the sound of that fetal heart sound, which is very regular and about 140 per minute, 120 to 140 per minute. So we can know the fetal heart sound with this Doppler machine, which is also very common investigation, and we do on the routine procedure. Amniotic fluid test, that is amniocentesis. We puncture the amniotic sac and we get the amniotic fluid, and we test for various purposes. So these types of investigations we advise for fetal growth and to rule out the major abnormalities in fetus. There are some advanced tests for fetus also, but those tests are not included or not necessary for routine investigations. So these are common investigations which we advise for normal pregnancy. So that is about examination and investigation of obstetric patient. Yesterday we had seen examination and investigation of gynec patient. Today we had seen examination and investigation of obstetric patient. These topics are usually for your practicals. So right from your journals and from case taking, and various types of investigations are actually asked for your theory questions also.